Raw review for the May 19th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, last Raw before Saturday Night Main Event, we had some qualifying matches. We had some interesting stuff happen at the end here, and it's May 19th, so somebody better check on Kane.
It's May 19th, so somebody check on you. Happy birthday, Mr. Brandon. Wish him a happy birthday in the comments. And while you're there, make sure to like, subscribe, share the content. Let's get into this stuff right here. Logan Paul starts the show. He's got a match Saturday against Mr. Jey Uso for that world title. He says he starts to state a bunch of facts. That was the thing. Fact this, fact that, everything. He said it's a fact that he's going to beat Jey this weekend, and it's a fact that he won a singles title in the WWE 12 years before Jey Uso ever did in his career, and it's a fact that Jey can't beat him, and it's also a fact that he's knocked him out 3 times with his fist. So all that good stuff is a fact, and he says it'll happen again on Saturday when Gunther comes out. Just like he did last week with Jey Uso, kind of out of nowhere. And he says, you are confident. You're confident in the fact that you're going to beat a man who beat me, which means you must be confident in the fact that you're better than me. But I guess he kind of gives Logan Paul some flowers here. He goes, I like confidence. Guys like us need confidence. People should respect you. You're better than most people say you are. You are a self-made empire. I can actually learn from you. And Logan starts to get all excited. He's like, oh, okay, Mr. Gunther likes me. He can learn from me. He wants to be a part of all this and do business with me. And Gunther goes, I can learn from you in terms of marketing and entrepreneurship, all of that. But I can even admit that you being champ would be really good for business. But beating Jey is personal for me. So if you beat Jey this weekend, you would be taking that away from me, which would make it personal for me against you. And I will eat you alive if that ever comes. And then he gets out of the ring. And when Logan Paul sees him leave the ring, Logan Paul gets pissed and is like, you're really going to do all that and storm out? Why are you doing that? And he turns around. Jey Uso is there with a super kick. Super kicks him right in the mouth to the point where Logan Paul actually starts bleeding for like the rest of the night. So he super kicks the hell out of him. Jey grabs the mic and says, fact, I'm going to beat you on Saturday. Fact, I'm going to deal with you, Mr. Gunther, afterward. 4 letters, 1 word, yee. This is a fire way to open Raw, man. I loved every second of it. Popping it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And Gunther wasn't somebody I had expected to see right away. And that's probably my fault. I thought Logan Paul would start the show, and he does. And then Gunther comes out. And it's a nice touch for Gunther. Gunther kind of addresses both sides of people's opinions about Logan Paul. Like, hey, you are pretty good at this stuff. But at the end of the day, you're also a piece of trash. So I thought it was really nice for Gunther to kind of give him his props, but also at the same time, the crowd starts cheering Gunther because the crowd's like, yeah, you're right, Gunther. We hate that guy. So it was awesome. It was a really fun way. Jey coming out, getting the upper hand here, and then reminding everybody, July 9th in Phoenix. He's going to fight Gunther. So it's just really good stuff. Kind of a fun way to start the night off and something I didn't really expect. Didn't expect to see Gunther and Logan Paul going at it on a mic.
Yeah, we're just going to put kind of what the rest of the story is together here. So throughout the night, we would get backstage segments for Logan Paul. We get backstage segments for Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, all these people. Jey was first. Paul Heymon is what ended up getting him. And he was like, hey, man, I got Braun Breaker a match tonight, but guess what? It's not a title match, and I did that for a reason because Braun Breaker doesn't care about the title. He cares about hurting you and making it so where you can't get to Saturday Night Main Event this weekend. And then Sami Zayn goes up to Jey, and he's like, no, I'm going to take care of him this weekend, so you don't have to worry about him. But then Seth Rollins approaches Gunther, and he's like, if you have the title by the time after the July 9th match, then I'm coming for you anyways. And Logan Paul.
He also, addresses Logan Paul.
And says, I'm going to beat up Jey tonight. Braun's going to beat up Jey tonight. So you're going to have the advantage this weekend. But if you win, I'm coming for the belts. Raw this week made it very, very apparent that Seth Rollins has one thing on his mind. That's the World Heavyweight Championship. He threatened Gunther, Jey, and Logan Paul today. So at least we have our mind, at least that's set. That's set in stone. No matter what happens post July 9th, it's going to be Seth Rollins in the title scene, right?
Yeah. I mean, it pretty much has to be. Pretty much tonight, Seth put everybody on notice, like, hey, I'm coming for the title. I don't care if it's you or you or you or you. And then also Heyman and Braun Breaker kind of falling in line, being like, well, they don't really want that. As long as Seth Rollins gets what he wants, everybody's sort of happy. So I thought that's an interesting thing to kind of start off tonight. We'll see with the men's Money in the Bank, the qualifying matches, who's all a part of that. I know we kind of tend to think Braun Breaker, some way, shape, or form, is going to be in that. So who knows if that maybe throws a wrench into the plans eventually. But for here tonight, it was nice to see Seth Rollins being like, okay, basically I'm the most dominant faction on Raw. We're going to take what's ours. I want the title. It's mine. It's the long game. And I really like the way that they kept talking about that tonight. It's the long game. It's the long game. It's just really nice to see Seth Rollins back in the title scene. I know it's been a little bit since he's been there. It feels good to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, they're setting him up to be like a Thanos-like, right? It's like right in front of us, we have Jey versus Logan, and then after that, we have X versus Gunther. So we have like episode 1, 2, but we all know that we're getting down the line to the real thing, which is Seth Rollins. I'm with you. I think it is cool that Paul Heymon and Braun Breaker made it very clear tonight that Braun does not care about that title. That's important to me because, you know, if Braun's doing all the heavy work, right, you would assume that Paul Heymon would eventually lean in his ear and be like, hey, let's go for the title ourselves. So that can happen way further down the line. The main thing that we need here is like to establish this faction, get the belt to Seth Rollins, and now everybody's on the same page. And that's the obvious goal for the faction. And Seth Rollins being in the world title scene as a heel leading this faction, like, yeah, I want to see it. So can't wait for July 9th to be done. And then we can just get on to the good story, man.
Yeah, and it might be a thing too. I know Money in the Bank is a while away. We don't know all of the male participants there, but it might be a thing where Seth Rollins is like, hey, I want you to go destroy everybody in this match sort of thing. Braun Breaker does that. And at the end of the day, he kind of looks up there and he's like, well, do I get it? Do I not get it? And maybe he does take the briefcase for the security that nobody can cash in on Seth, that sort of thing.
They should 100% do that. It'd be freaking awesome to have Seth Rollins have the belt with Braun Breaker as the Money in the Bank. I mean, that story would be great.
I mean, I'm still going to root for Karrion Kross, but Karrion Kross ain't on TV.
Yeah, no Karrion Kross tonight. Number one merch seller. Yeah. We're moving on. Our first match tonight was JD and Finn taking on AJ and Penta. Why you keep making faces at that thing, weirdo?
That flavor's not good.
Over there, guys.
Limited edition Gatorade flavor, not good.
Weirdo.
Not good.
Anyway, JD Finn versus AJ and Penta. There is no Dom. Dom does not come out with them once again. That was very commentary made sure to point that out, by the way.
Point home tonight.
AJ and Penta would start the match out really hot. They're actually a really good team. It was actually cool to see them. Like I was like halfway through it, I was like, well, you guys are more interesting than every tag team on Raw. Wouldn't mind that happening.
And they look really cool. Their gear was matching colors tonight. It's like, yeah, you know what? I kind of want to see this.
They did like a double suicide dive to start the match, but JD eventually distracted the ref, which means Carlito and Finn got involved and started cheating to get the advantage. And AJ would get the hot tag and do a calf crusher to Finn, but JD would try to jump off the top rope and end up hitting Finn Balor. So things were going wrong for everybody here. But eventually, though, we'd have the match would spill to the outside, and Penta would jump off the stairs, if I can find my words here, and hit a Mexican Destroyer onto JD. Mm-hmm. And AJ Styles did a phenomenal forearm off the stairs to Carlito, but then randomly behind a barricade, it's El Grande Americano, and he's got something in his mask again, a big piece of metal, and he headbutts the back of Penta's head. And then we get Finn throwing him in the ring. I don't know what's going on in the ref here. I think Finn was in the ring distracting him or something. Mm-hmm. And Finn jumps out, then throws Penta in the ring, hits the coup de grace onto Penta, and Mr. Pin Balor gets the pin over Penta here. 1, 2, 3. AJ and Penta lose to JD and Finn. And this was a fun match. El Grande Americano getting involved in it, popping it.
Yeah, it's a really fun match. You look at Penta and AJ, two people that you're like, man, these guys are really awesome. I really enjoy both these guys. They should be a tag team. AJ did a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of work in the beginning, kind of to where you're like, man, maybe he's able to take out all of the Judgment Day, not named Dom by himself. Yeah. Like AJ did a lot of work. You get the El Grande stuff. Admittedly, when this match was announced, didn't think anything of it. Did not think I was going to get an El Grande appearance here. We get that there to further the Penta stuff, which maybe is a AAA thing with the Worlds Collide. Maybe you get El Grande versus Penta. That would be pretty cool.
Ooh.
And then you get Finn taking the win here. Finn Balor now has some found momentum. He kind of is on the right path again. It looks like he's picking up some stuff. He's getting some credibility, which we'll get to a little bit later. But Finn, JD, a much needed win, especially for JD since coming back from injury. Finn Balor getting the pin here. You're like, oh, they're going to try to establish Finn again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all down for it. We may as well get into it because we're talking about the Judgment Day right now anyways. But we go back to the back, and Judgment Day's having a good time. JD's happy. We don't see Finn on screen yet. Dom's just chilling with Raquel back there. And Carlito. But then Finn shows up with Roxan Perez, which is absolutely crazy. And Finn's like, I got some help here for us. And Dom's first thing he says is, we should have talked to Liv, man. Should have talked to Liv. And Finn's like, no. I'm not technically making her a part of Judgment Day. It's just we have so many guys here to back each other up. Raquel and Liv need somebody to back them up, so I got Roxanne here. And Dom just is continuing like, we should have spoken to Liv. Raquel is making nasty faces. The guys are kind of like, I don't know about this one. But then Roxanne speaks up, and she's like, don't worry, everybody. I got your presents. And she pulls out a box and hands it to Mr. Dom. And it's some nuggies. Got him some nuggets in a box. A lot of them, too. It was like 20 of them. Dom, without saying a word, just starts munching on them. By the way, close your mouth when you chew, Dom. Chomping away. Open mouth. And then she gives a bag to Carlito, and it has a bunch of apples in it. And he takes it out and starts crunching on it as well. So there we go. Finn Balor has introduced a new member to the Judgment Day, Roxan Perez. She's already giving gifts to Mr. Dom, which seems like we're aiming toward maybe a Roxanne and Liv thing going on down the road. This is going to be entertaining. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it as well. We saw Finn and Roxanne in the back for weeks and weeks and weeks together. And you're like, man, I wonder if they're going to do something with that. Liv was rumored to come back tonight. Now I think you delay Liv's return. You have it build up with Roxanne trying to win over all the members of the Judgment Day. We'll see how it goes. Like you said, Carlito at first seemed kind of like, JD was kind of like, no, I'm good here. Raquel definitely doesn't want her there. But it almost all doesn't seem to matter because it looks like she's going after Dom. And if you go after Dom and you get Dom on your side, then all hell's breaking loose here. Ultimately, the end goal is going to be a Finn Balor and Roxanne versus Liv and Dom, or maybe just a Roxanne versus Liv. At the end of the day, if that's what you get, you sign me up, especially if it's Liv versus Roxanne. Going to be interesting. I don't know how I necessarily feel about Roxanne being thrown into that for her first, main card story. But at the same time, like I said, if the end goal is her versus Liv Morgan, you sign me up.
That's exactly how I feel. I didn't know how I felt about the rumors of Roxanne joining Judgment Day when they were just rumors. And then she walks up there, and the first thing she does is give a gift to Dom Mysterio. And I'm like, oh, so we're going to aim toward Liv versus Rox. And it's like, okay, I'm 100% bought in on that one. Now the only question is furthering this is like, there's the door open. We got one new member. Does that open up more doors? El Grande Americano has been helping them a lot over the last few weeks. Helped Dom at Backlash. Helped Finn tonight. That could also lead to the Creed brothers. So Finn could be, making his own Judgment Day to replace the other Judgment Day. So I think Roxanne's the first of maybe a couple more members here. But it's interesting as hell. And again, if it leads to anything with Liv and Roxy down the line, like I'm 100% down for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many different variations of the Judgment Day at this point.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for a really long time. And you're like, how do they keep buying you back in? And they insert new people, and there's more life that gets injected into it. Like, props to them for continuing to kind of keep this thing going when at times it seemed to fail.
Agreed. We'll move on to our match, though. We had Kathy Kelly interviewing Io Sky, who said whoever wins the Money in the Bank can basically get it, when Becky Lynch was like, well, I'm going to be the one that gets it. And she heads out to the ring because she's got a Money in the Bank qualifier match with Roxanne, with Big Time Bex, and Natalya. This is before the Judgment Day segment we just said, so the Rock stuff happens later in the night. But Becky and Roxanne would act like they were going to team up right away, like literally a second in the match, and then Becky would just turn on Roxy right there, just immediately. It was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Tried to throw her out, but then Roxanne reversed that and threw her out.
Yeah, Rox was doing all this good stuff. It was a bunch of stuff from her. She did a springboard moonsault to both of them who were laying on the ground at one time. We got all the good stuff here. There was this point where Natalya and Becky Lynch were in the corner and they were trying to wrap each other up and do something. Somebody was trying to German suplex the other, and then Roxanne would pop over and do a pop rocks to Natalya, which would cause Natalya to do a German suplex to Becky Lynch. And I was like, this is awesome. And then Natalya got a ton of offense in. We did get a few manhandle slams in here. Becky wasn't really throwing them very well tonight. I don't know what was going on there, but the crowd was loving them some sharpshooters. Loving them some sharpshooters, bro. Yeah. They didn't really pop for Natalya when she came out, but anytime she laid in a sharpshooter, that crowd was like freaking Austin Hart out there. It was crazy. But she would lock it in on a rocks until Becky would break it up. But when Becky got in the ring, Natalya would actually put the double sharpshooter on both of them. And then things started to go wild. Hell was breaking loose until Lyra Valkyria. She shows up and she pulls Becky Lynch out of the ring and starts beating the hell out of her because obviously at Backlash, after the match happened, Becky Lynch beat the hell out of Lyra for no reason. And so they're fighting. Becky's trying to get in the ring, but Lyra's like, no, you're not going back in the damn ring. They fight all the way up to the set. Meanwhile, Rox is able to get the pop rocks onto Natalya in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Roxanne Perez is able to be the first one on Raw to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match, which is 100% the right decision in my mind. This is all great. Popping it.
Yeah, I feel like you have to pop this. Everybody got some offense in. You continued the Lyra Becky stuff, which we were kind of unsure if that was maybe going to happen or not. Ends up happening. The way they did it was pretty good. I enjoyed that stuff. Natalya got a ton of offense in, and Natalya kind of looks like the Natty Neidhart a little bit. You know, outside of all her WWE stuff, she's been doing stuff on the independent scene, and she's been killing it. And they gave her some offense here, and she looked really good. Didn't have that on my bingo card, but it was awesome. As you said, Roxanne Perez, right choice here. I mean, you look at the 3 in this match and you're like, yeah, it's Roxanne. Roxanne's the next choice. And later on, we'll get to all the participants in the Money in the Bank, but they're making this the most stacked Money in the Bank on the women's side. You have Roxanne, who is, you know, she stole the show in the Rumble and the Chamber, and she's just done amazing stuff already. So let's just kind of continue to keep making that push. Can't say anything bad about this. I guess the match was a little weird in the beginning, but it ended up the last 25-30% making up for it. It was fun and exciting.
Roxanne winning, all for it. Nothing bad to say and nothing really more to say. I'm very happy that Lyra showed up and is starting to beat up Becky again because I want to see another chapter in that book. I think they obviously bring the absolute best out of each other. Becky Lynch is building that star in Lyra that is absolutely needed for her because she has all the potential in the world. And if Becky Lynch is going to unlock that potential, we need that around. So I'm happy that they're continuing. That looks to be a Money in the Bank match as well. So, you know, round 2 there, happy about all of it. We're moving on, though. Sheamus and Waller are going at it in singles action here. This one was a little bit of a slog. Love Sheamus. Like Waller a lot. But we're still doing the Waller Theory thing. And that was kind of taking place throughout this match as well. We had Theory distract Sheamus early in the match, which got Waller a bunch of offense in until Sheamus did his hulking up. Per usual, they went through all this good stuff. They had this one weird spot, though, where Sheamus was going to do like an apron white noise to Waller. And they fell, and Waller's head was like too far back and ended up hitting like the second rope on the way down. It was a scary spot, man. He bounced off, and everybody in the arena, even you could hear, it was like an audible, like, oh. So that didn't really go well. But eventually, Waller wants to just like leave the match. He wants to leave, and Theory's like, no, be a man, go fight. But that ends up getting Waller killed. Brogue kick happens. 1, 2, 3. Sheamus wins this match. That's the story. It's coming, I guess. Down the road. Even the New Day later on in the promo talked about the Waller split up and said eventually he's going to kick Theory's head off, but it's been like a year and a half, 2 years now. So I don't know what's going on there. I didn't really like this match very much. I'm dropping it.
Yeah, I'm going to drop it as well. It's nice to see Sheamus on TV, but you kind of look at it and you're like, well, what are they kind of doing with Sheamus? They don't really seem to have a clear path. Somebody had suggested maybe a Sheamus versus Rusev. Maybe that's what you get when Rusev destroys Tozawa next week. As for the Theory Waller stuff, we say it all the time. Like, it is what it is. I feel like they've waited so long on it that you don't really have interest anymore.
Nope.
If it happens, it happens. Theory did have like a nice, like, whoops, was that my fault? Like, laugh. I thought that was funny. Yeah. But outside of that, nothing to really write home about. Just kind of took up some time. Was a real filler here.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in the breakup at this point. You've been leading me on for literally over a year and a half at this point. I had nothing more to say on it. I'm not looking forward to it. When it happens, it's going to be more relief than anything else. It's not going to be excitement for me, so we'll move it on. I am going to follow it up with one more drop here, too, because we got a Tyrese Halliburton interview for the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, he was on WWE TV, plays for the Pacers. They're now in the NBA Conference Finals, and it was a fun little interview about him being a part of 2K now, WWE 2K, but it went on for like a solid 6, 7, 8 minutes here, way too long. This killed the momentum of what was a really good Raw at this point, dropping the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Yep, not more. Yeah, I mean, it really did.
That, and then he's going to be a special guest on the Raw recap tomorrow. Why you have him on there instead of a actual wrestler that wrestled in, let's say, one of the qualifying matches or
an upcoming match
or something. You do have Saturday Night Main Event coming up. You could have done something there. Is what it is.
Making too much sense there, dude. Making too much sense. We're moving on to the second and final Money in the Bank qualifier match of the night. It was Ria Ripley taking on Zoe Stark and the returning Kairi Sane. Very good to see her. She looked great. This match had an unfortunate thing happen during it, which really, really sucks. So immediately Ria Ripley was being Ria Ripley and was suplexing people, and she suplexed the hell out of Kairi Sane. She leaves the ring. But we end up getting Kairi Sane and Zoe Stark in the ring fighting. Kairi is able to throw Zoe Stark out to the apron, and then Ria Ripley is coming in from the opposite apron. And Kairi Sane's standing in the middle of the ring, and you could tell Zoe Stark was going to try to do one of her sniper missile drop kicks, which is like a springboard missile drop kick that she does across the entire ring. She does it, and something happens. Camera didn't catch all of it, but all we saw was the landing, and she lands on the mat, and her leg is facing the other way. Her leg in real life snaps, basically. She goes down immediately. A paramedic from the outside rushes in the ring. We pan to the Money in the Bank briefcases hanging above. We go to commercial break. Real-time injury here on the fly. Turns the triple threat match into a 1v1 match. That sucks to see. Not really more to say. Like, obviously, we're praying for her. She, I guess it was the same knee that she already had a year-long surgery and recovery from. So she's a badass. If anybody can do it, hopefully it's her and she can get back into it. But, hard to continue a wrestling match that has spots called, and triple threat matches are all about that kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden on the fly, halfway through it, we're working 1v1 here. They did their best. Ria and Kairi, they did their best here. Ria immediately locked up the prison lock on her. Kairi would do some off the top rope stuff, but Ria would drop kick her. Like literally, Kairi would do like a top rope crossbody, and Ria jumped up. They played it in slow motion. It was crazy. Ria Ripley's just insane. And drop kicks her. Kairi would even go for the over the moonsault or the insane elbow at one point, and Rhea still got her legs up there. But it ends in a riptide 1, 2, 3. Rhea Ripley qualifies here. So I'm not going to give this a pop or a drop. They made it work. It was obviously a slow match, but things are here. But the takeaway is our qualifiers from Raw and this week are star-studded. Roxanne, Perez, and Rhea Ripley both qualify for the Money in the Bank. This is looking like it's going to be one of the best Money in the Bank lineups ever.
Yeah, on the women's side, it's going to be one of the best. I mean, you have Rhea, you have Roxanne, you have Alexa, you potentially have Charlotte in that mix as well, coming up on SmackDown with her qualifying match. This field is going to be phenomenally stacked, and I cannot wait to see it. I know people might have had some reservations about Rhea being in the Money in the Bank match, but it's nice to see her do something different that she hasn't done in her career before. So it's exciting for that. And you have her mixed with the likes of Roxanne and Alexa and potentially Charlotte, like I just mentioned. Who else? There's going to be a couple more, obviously, down the road. It's just going to be fun. And you're going to look at it at the end of the day and you're going to be like, well, I could see this person winning or this person or this person, or I really want this person to win. And at the end of the day, that's all I really want out of the Money in the Banks.
Yeah, there's 6 people in Money in the Bank matches, and the 3 that are already in this match, I'm like, yep, I can 100% see each and every one of them winning. Alexa Bliss is obviously one of the most over people on SmackDown, got the biggest pop at Royal Rumble. She can obviously go ahead and win that thing and go after the title for the first time in years. Roxanne's the young talent, which makes you feel like that's what the Money in the Bank matches are made for. Give somebody like that, an upcoming star, a briefcase, just like what we did Tiffany last year. And then there's Rhea Ripley, only the most badass woman arguably in WWE history. Like, she's just incredible. You can obviously see her winning. And then you haven't even finished off on the other side. We have Jade Cargill, Charlotte Flairs of the world are over there. So this Money in the Bank looks ridiculous. And it's going to be must-see TV, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly how it should be. And like you said, this match, unfortunately, had the injury. So thoughts and prayers to Zoe. One of our favorites. I mean, we do enjoy Zoe.
PFC all the way,
had
baby.
some, obviously she was the last remaining member of PFC, and they saw something, with her. She was just with the Trish Stratus stuff not too long ago. So hopefully she comes back and she's okay, because that was pretty gnarly.
And professionals of Ria and Kyrie for just jumping out on there and getting it done, man. That's a hard job to follow, man. I sure as hell would crumble. Anyway, we'll get to our main event now. It was Jey Uso taking on Braun Breaker, coming out with Paul Heymon, of course. We got ourselves some yeets in the crowd all the way down. They were loving it. Jey would start really hot here. He wasn't going to let Braun Breaker just walk in and beat the hell out of him. He would suicide dive. But before Braun walked back in the ring, Heyman stopped him and he talked to him. He said words. He's like, calm the hell down. Just do your job. And after Heyman got his head right, Braun calmed the hell down and beat the hell out of this man named Jey and was destroying him. And we went to the outside of the ring and we did the spot where, Jey tried to suicide dive again, but Braun caught him, threw him off the barricade, threw him off the stairs, threw him off the announce table, lined him up on the announce table, and then did his apron jumping clothesline over the announce table, which is always really good.
He sent that. He overshot that thing.
Overshot it. Absolutely.
He was excited.
But then we get the Jey come back, and he was doing his big old super kicks, and he even did a sit-down powerbomb. Got the 1-2 there. And then
a few of those tonight, and I really like that.
Yeah,
I enjoy that.
And then he did a pop-up Samoan drop, and Braun Breaker, being the athletic freak he is, got like 15 feet in the air. It was crazy.
He probably could have touched those briefcases.
Yeah, legit.
I mean, legitimately.
But you got the 1-2 there as well for Jey. Braun would also get his top rope Frankensteiner. We were doing the best of everything for both guys here, right? Braun would eventually try to go for his running spear, where he runs the ropes 23 miles an hour, and Jey Uso would super kick him during it. Boom. And when that happens, shenanigans does start. Paul Heymon jumps onto the ring apron, distracts the ref. Jey Uso gets pissed. He's like, you know what? I've had enough of your shit, Paul. He gets out and tries to square up with Paul Heymon, and Paul Heymon squares up right back. Takes his suit jacket off.
And Paul pulls the leg of Jey, and he's ready to go.
He does the, like, come here. Yeah, boy.
Like Mrs. Dad.
Yeah, he really did. He lined him up. That's when Seth Rollins jumps out on him from behind. Ding, ding, obviously. But before we did set this up, I get it. It's a DQ. A lot of that happens in wrestling. I don't like it right now. But they did set it up that nobody cared about the outcome of this match. The whole point was for the team of Seth and Braun to break Jey Uso, right? That was the point. So they start to stomp this man, go crazy on him. That's when Sami Zayn's music hits. And Sami Zayn comes all the way up to the ring apron. Seth and Braun are ready to fight. But then nothing happens. Sami's just sitting there. CM Punk shows up. Bang! CM Punk comes out there. And a really, really cool moment happens here where CM Punk and Sami are on the ring apron. Braun and Seth are in the ring. And the crowd is just singing the entire CM Punk theme song a cappella. They just let him sing it. They like the guys in the ring let him have their moment. The crowd just let him have it. And they sang like a good 30 seconds of the song. And then the fight commences, and these four go after each other. They end up spilling out to the outside of the ring and then into the crowd. CM Punk jumps off the barricade, takes everybody out, but they're going crazy in the ring. We get outside into the crowd. Bye-bye. We have the producer logo on the screen. Show's ending, but then we pan back to the ring real quick. Jey Uso is kind of tired watching them all go into the crowd when Logan Paul turns. He's there. Bang! Knocks out Jey Uso. So go to sleep, Jey. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the fourth time he knocked him out. So Raw ends on a crazy note. You had CM Punk and Sami Zayn chasing Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker out of the stadium. And then you have Mr. Logan Paul knock out Jey Uso one more time. Saturday Night Main Event. Build's looking good. Popping all of it.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, how about that? He starts the show, he ends the show. Logan Paul stands tall. That's something I didn't think I'd say. Yeah, it was fun stuff. You have Braun Breaker just kind of going I don't really care. I'm going to destroy Jey Uso. And that was the whole premise. You got Jey playing his greatest hits. It's fun. These two actually have some really good chemistry that they show time and time and time again. So it's really fun. You have Paul putting his dukes up. Paul wants to fight, I guess. Paul's not backing down. And then you get the cool Sami and CM Punk stuff. I wasn't like this match didn't make me more excited. I was already excited for it, but maybe if you were on the fence a little bit, this should have bought you in because it was a really cool thing. Like you said, the crowd played their part tonight. Good job, crowd, tonight. Earlier in the night, you had Sami Zayn talking to Jey Uso about, I got your back, I got his back, I got everybody's back. So that makes you kind of wonder a little bit. And then you have Logan Paul staying tall because ultimately we know he's not going to win a Saturday night.
Yeah, I think we all know that Logan Paul is not winning this weekend, but I think they did a really good job this Raw of making you kind of think about it a little bit because they gave so many reasons like, you know, we're going to beat up Jey to the point where you're going to be ahead going into the match. And Seth Rollins is like talking to Logan Paul and basically told him that like, you know, if we beat up Jey tonight, then you end up winning on the weekend, then you kind of owe me because I would be the reason that you won the belt. So after you beat Jey and beat Gunther, then like, you know, come back to me and give me a title shot. So it all makes sense a little bit from that angle story-wise if you want to give yourself a little bit of like reasoning for why Logan Paul might win. It's not going to happen, but we all know that Saturday Night main events are pretty much throwaway events, and I feel like tonight's Raw did a good job of at least making you want to tune in to Saturday Night main event, which is all you can ask for. So that's good.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, it planted the seeds about Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, but it also planted the seeds about Logan Paul versus Gunther, which is something I didn't think I would see. I mean, obviously, Jay's kind of already had the seeds planted with everybody. You don't need to replant those, but it is nice to say like, oh, okay, well, now we've seen these guys interact on screen. We see that Gunther's not a fan, but he kind of is a fan. And then you see Rollins being like, we can run it back like we did at Mania a couple times ago. So it's just really nice to really give you at least some sort of like, oh, maybe there is a little bit of doubt.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun one. We give this Raw 10 pops to 4 drops. That's what it was. It was a lot of good, and then there was a 30-minute period of just like, eh. And then, of course, the Zoe Stark injury takes the wind out of the arena and at home because it's a real-life bad thing that happened. So that sucks, and prayers for her again. Prayers for her again. But obviously, we had a good, fun time on our live stream as well. Thank you guys for showing up there for Brandon's birthday. Everybody was very nice to him. Live stream on youtube.com/@CODWrestlePod. And for everything else, it's at CODWrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It's got all of our links to all of our socials. Please come like, share, subscribe, follow on all that good stuff because we are confident that you would love that kind of wrestling content. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.